Hello everybody, welcome into another lesson. So today we're going to talk about ratios. Ratios are basically you have one number divided by another. It's just a fancy way of saying division. This can be read as 24x to 8x. Your first number in the ratio to the left is always your numerator. Your second number of the ratio to the right is always your denominator. So what we can do is we can take this 24x, divide that by 8x. Well, it's clear the x's cancel out between the numerator and denominator, and then 24 divided by 8 is 3. The answer you should get is 3, or if you're going to write it in ratio form, it would be 3 to 1. So the reduced ratio would be 3 to 1. Because the default denominator is 1. So the ratio is 3 to 1. Alright. What about the next one? Alright, how about 6y to 9y? So we have 6y to 9y. So that means your 6y would be the numerator. Your 9y would be the denominator. Well, it's clear that your y's cancel out. Okay? So, between 6 and 9, there is a common factor of 3. If you divide 6 by 3, you get 2. You divide 9 by 3, you get 3. So the answer you should get is 2/3, or it can be written as the ratio of 2 to 3. That's how you would write it as a ratio in its simplest form. It would be 2 to 3. Alright, let's see. We have s squared to the quantity of 3s. That quantity squared. Well, what we can do, of course, is write s squared over that quantity of 3s to the second power, which s squared will stay the same in the numerator. But what you're going to have in the denominator, 3 to the second power, that's 9. S to the second power is s to the second power. So now you have it as s squared over 9s squared. Well, it's clear between the numerator and denominator, the s squareds will cancel out. What you should be left with is 1 over 9, or you could say the ratio 1 to 9. You could write it as the fraction 1/9, that's acceptable. Or you can write it as with the ratio symbol of 1 to 9. Either way is acceptable. Let's see, we have 27 m to the 5th over 45 m to the 2nd. So we have the ratio of 27 m to the 5th to 45 m to the 2nd. We want to write this as a ratio in simplest form. Well, let's start with our coefficients here, 27 and 45, right? Between 27 and 45, there is a common factor of 9. You divide 27 by 9, you'll get 3. Divide 45 by 9, you'll get 5. Now, what that's going to leave you with here is 3m to the 5th to 5m to the 2nd. That's where we're at so far. Well, we know m to the 5th over m to the 2nd, that's going to leave you with m to the 3rd, the numerator. So you'll have 3m to the 3rd over 5. And you can write it that way. That's one way you can write this. Or you can write it as the ratio of 3m to the 3rd to 5. either way would be acceptable, because a ratio is basically a fraction. It's just another way of writing it. Alright, let's get into these type of problems. Let's see here. Find the ratio, not ration, what the heck? Find the ratio x to y. Alright, so these problems you're going to find the ratio of x to y. And they start out like this. You have 8x equal to 5y. Right? 8x equals 5y. How do you get it to be x to y? Well, first thing I would do, go ahead, divide the left side by 8, get x by itself. So if you divide 8x by 8, you just get x, but you have to do it to the right side also. You would end up getting 5y over 8. Well, we want to get this to be x to y. You have the x by itself, right? In the fraction on the right hand side, your y is in the numerator, so that means you need to divide by y. If you divide the right side by y, you'll get 5 to 8. The y's will cancel out, but you have to do it to the left side. You'll end up getting x over y, which x over y is x to y. X to y equals 5 over 8, or 5 to 8. So the answer you should get is 5 to 8. In the end, you got x over y equals 5/8, so x to y is 5 to 8. Alright, what's next? Okay, 7x equals 4y. So we have 7x equals 4y. We still want to find the ratio of x to y. First, get x by itself, divide by 7. You divide 7x by 7, you just get x, would be equal to, you have to do it to the right side also, you would end up getting 4y over 7. Well, now, you in the fraction on the right hand side, you have y in the numerator. What you want to do is divide both sides by y. If you divide 4y by over 7 divided by y, you'll just end up getting 4 over 7. But you'd have to do it to the left side. You would end up doing x divided by y, which x divided by y is x to y. That equals 4 to 7, 4 over 7, or you can write it as 4 to 7. That's the answer you would get, is 4 to 7. Alright, let's see. 14x equals 12y. 14x equals 12y. Well, first thing, divide both sides by 14. You divide the left side by 14, you're just left with x. What you'll end up getting is 12y over 14. Well, the right side, you have your y in the numerator, so you want to divide by y. If you divide the right side by y, you'll simply just have 12 over 14. The left side, you divide by y, you'll have x over y. Okay? Well, x to y is 12 to 14, but we know we can simplify 12 to 14, right? 12 and 14 both have a common factor of 2. We divide 12 by 2, we'll get 6. Divide 14 by 2, you get 7. So the ratio of x to y ends up being 6 to 7. That would be your final answer, would be 6 to 7. Alright. What if we have 4 times the quantity of x plus y equal to 8 times the quantity of x minus y? Okay. Well, first thing I would do is do the distributive property on each side. So 4 times x, that gives you 4x. Plus 4 times y, that gives you 4y. That would be equal to, you would have 8 times x would be equal to 8x, minus 8 times y, that'd be negative 8y. Now it's just simply a matter of get your x terms to one side, get your y terms to the other side. We want to get that 4x by itself, so we gotta subtract 4y from both sides. We subtract 4y from the left, we just get 4x. That'll be equal to, you have 8x minus 8y minus 4y. That would give you 8x minus 12y. Now, we got, on the left side, we have the x by itself. The right side, we want to make the y term be by itself. Well, in order to get that negative 12y by itself, we got to subtract 8x from the right hand side. If we do that, you end up getting negative 12y on the right hand side. You subtract 8x from 4x, so 4x minus 8x, that gives you negative 4x. What you have now is negative 4x is equal to negative 12y. Do yourself a favor, divide both sides by negative 1. Now you're down to 4x is equal to 12y. You've got rid of the negative signs. If you could do that, by all means, please do. Now we have a problem we can work with here. 4x is equal to 12y. We want to get the x by itself, so we got to divide that side by 4. You do that, you'll get x would be equal to 12y over 3. Well, we have x equals 12y over 3. We want to, of course, divide the right side by y. If you do that, you'll just end up having 12 over 3. But you divide the left side of x by y, you get x over y. So you got x to y is equal to 12 to 3. 12 to 3, that reduces to 4 to 1. So the ratio is really 4 to 1. That would be your ratio, it would be 4 to 1. Let's do at least another problem or so like this. Alright, let's see here. We have 8 times the quantity of 2x minus 3y is equal to 6 times x plus y. So do yourself a favor, do the distributive property on both sides. 8 times 2x is 16x. Minus 8 times 3y, that'd be 24y. That's going to be equal to 6 times x, well that's 6x. plus 6 times y, that's going to be 6y. Okay, now we want to get the x terms ultimately to the left side, the y terms ultimately to the right side. Well, first get that 16x by itself. You need to get that negative 24y out of the left-hand side, which means you need to add 24y. If you do that to the left side, you're just left with 16x. That'll be equal to, now you have 6x plus 6y plus 24y. That would give you 6x plus 30y. Okay? Now, we want to get that 30y by itself on the right-hand side. So that means we got to subtract 6x from the right-hand side. If we do that, we do in fact get 30y by itself. But what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So 16x minus 6x, that's going to be 10x. Now you have 10x equals 30y, something much better to work with. Well, we want to get that x by itself on the left-hand side, so you got to divide by 10. If you do that, you'll just have x is equal to 30y over 10. Well, we have 30y over 10, okay? We want to, of course, divide that fraction by y. If you divide 30y over 10 by y, what you'll simply end up getting is 30 over 10. But what you do to one side, you got to do to the other. You got to divide that x by y. Now you'll end up having x over y is equal to 30 over 10. Well, x over y, that's x to y as we're seeking. That's equal to 30 over 10. Well, 30 divided by 10, that's 3. In other words, they'd be in the ratio 3 to 1. So the ratio of x to y is 3 to 1. So ratio's just fancy term for division. And then if you're solving these type of problems, isolate your x to one side, your y to another, simplify it, and divide by y, you'll end up having your ratio of x to y. And then simplify the fraction if you need to. But that's been it for this lesson. Next lesson we will get into proportions. So I hope everybody has a good night. Take care.